Good evening. Welcome to the December 17th, 2020 meeting of the Mount Juliet Municipal and Regional Planning Commission meeting. Just wanted to include that 2020 because this is the last meeting of 2020, and what a unique and unusual year it has been. So as we start our meeting, I'd like to start by just wishing everybody that is at home, and especially my fellow Planning Commission members here, Merry Christmas, very happy holidays. I hope it is that the year ends with blessings, and all the staff that does wonderful things for us up here that keeps us organized and moving forward and keeps the city moving forward through these times. It has unique would be a understatement of a word, but somehow they've continued to work through shutdowns, continued to work through these meetings. I can say it's very unique. I've been in here to where there's standing room only, and but not been in here to where there were no people in here. So that was even on our smallest agenda, we had a few people here. So it has, yes, sir. It has been a different year, and so hats off to the way staff has handled this year. Hats off to everybody for listening, working through that. Even as we have an item on our agenda tonight with our continuing education, I sure missed that continuing education meeting and being there for that time. So once again, just a very unique year. And so my hats off and gratitude for everybody here. With that being said, we made mention that last month that we said our goodbyes to Commissioner Giles as he is moving on to his next adventure in life. So and we lost Mr. Parnell as well last month. So we do have two replacements tonight. So as we begin, I would like to make a few introductions and put you guys on the spot so that you have to introduce yourself. First off, we'll start with District 3 Commissioner Scott Hefner, and he is our Board of Commissioners appointed representative here to our Planning Commission. So I will turn the microphone over to you, Commissioner Hefner.
Thank you. I appreciate the introduction. Very excited to be here, be part of the Planning Commission. Hope you have some patience with me, at least for the first couple of meetings as I get up to speed on everything. I do want to thank Andy Barlow and Jennifer Hamlin for their time and staff earlier today. Again, excited to be here and looking forward to working with everybody on the board.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Welcome aboard. And another new member tonight, not necessarily new to city dealings, but I'd like to introduce David Rast, our next appointed commissioner here, and he has served on the Board of Zoning Appeals, and so we welcome him over to the Planning Commission. So, David.
I'd say thank you for inviting me here to be a part of the commission, and I look forward to helping make a difference in Mount Juliet.
Yes, sir.
I've been interested in our development. I've seen this city grow amazingly over the past 11 years, and from everyone I've talked to, it's grown even more than that. Just when Providence came in, so I look forward to being a part of that growth and contributing. Wonderful.
Thank you, guys. Welcome aboard here to the Planning Commission. As I was talking to Commissioner Hefner, I guess I've been here a long time now, 15 years or going on that, and so it is an honor and a blessing to be able to serve your community in this role. And so with that, we will begin to move forward with our meeting tonight. Our first item up is to set our agenda. And I have two changes. Item 3.8, which was to review the final master development plan for Bradshaw Farms Phase 2 located at Van Air and Beckwith Road, has been deferred per the request of the applicant. Also, item 3.9, which was to review the preliminary plat for Bradshaw Farms Phase 2 located at Van Air and Beckwith Road, has also been deferred off of our agenda. Any other changes, amendments, adjustments? Means if anybody is here for the Bradshaw Farms on our agenda tonight, we will not be hearing or discussing that on our agenda. That being said, we'll set our agenda as stated. Before we move over to staff reports real quick, I just want to remind everybody real quick that Ms. Johnson, our planning secretary over here, has the unique task of taking notes and trying to track all of these minutes, which we will approve here momentarily. So it's a reminder to everybody, and especially for us in this new seating arrangement. I used to have a nice smiley face for pressing the buttons to activate your microphone, and now it's more look at the number and the name and everything else up here, but try to take care of me. So as we do move forward, please, as a reminder, if you do speak, try to speak towards the microphone so that she can make sure that we get everything accurately into the minutes. And then likewise, if any citizens come up to speak into the microphone tonight, just make sure that you adjust that to where we can get your comments on record as well, please. With that being said, we'll start with our staff reports. Ms. Hamlin.
Thank you. I'd like to take a second to welcome our new members and thank the rest of you for a very productive 2020. I wanted to go over some numbers with you. 131 total planning commission submittals for 2020, and that includes 2 months of canceled meetings. You guys approved 32 site plans, 38 final plats. Going back to the site plan, 119,000 square feet of commercial space, 570 lots, 11 PMDPs with 582 residential units, 18 rezones, 3 land use amendments, 3 PUD amendments, 8 annexations, 11 FMDPs, and 7 preliminary plats. Signs have been a hot topic this year. 153 approved of permanent signs, temporary signs, 127. And building codes has issued 6,600 building permits in 2020. So we've had a very productive year in development here in Mount Juliet. So thank you guys for looking at all of those plans, and I hope you have a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Anything from our public works? Yes.
I'd like to welcome our 2 new members to the Planning Commission. Hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving and a Merry Christmas as well. We just want to end 2020 on the fact that we're bringing a new staff member on board next week. His name is Charles Shorty Hunt. He has tremendous experience. He's going to add a lot to our team with regards to GIS and surveying, along with plan review and drafting experience. He is going to be a great fit. We're excited to have him here and complete our team with Public Works and try to keep up the good work that we try to provide the city and provide you guys as well. So that's what we've got this month. Thank you.
Thank you all. All right. Next item up on our agenda is citizen comments. This time we'll take citizen comments. The public is welcome and encouraged to make public comment about any item on our agenda. There'll be 2 opportunities for comments. You may speak now, or you may speak when the item is presented to the Planning Commission. We do ask that you limit your comments to 3 minutes or less. Anyone that wishes to address the Planning Commission at this time, please come to the microphone and state your name and address for the record. Seeing no citizen comments at this time, we will move forward with our first item on the agenda, and that's item 2.1, the Planning Commission regular meeting minutes from November 19th of 2020. Any adjustments, typos, errors, corrections? See now, Commissioner Franklin?
Yeah, I got a couple. And
There you are.
on page 11, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th paragraph down. The word important is left off in the sentence where it says plan for infrastructure in our growth area. And here we have another county trying to decide one of our most important infrastructures needs to be there. And on down a couple sentences, permits, financial aspect of how many permits, S on it. Flipping over to page 12, just one more in I guess the second paragraph. Something happens surrounded by the city of Mount Juliet and backs up. Probably not the best use of English on my behalf, but instead of backups, it's backs up to Davidson County. And then on down another couple of sentences, served by our services as opposed to Wilson County's apostrophe S. And that's all I see.
Very well. Any further changes? Seeing none, I'd like to ask for a motion in regards to this item on our agenda. It's a motion, Commissioner Franklin, second by Commissioner Turner. All those in favor signify by saying aye and raising your hand. Aye. Against, abstentions, so approved. Next item up on our agenda is our consent agenda. We'll begin with item 3.1, Development Letter of Credit, number 11503-015-00110 for the Southern Bank traffic signal, and the amount of $328,474.29 can be released. Item 3.2, review the final plat for Rainey Gerald property located at 8999 and 9039 Lebanon Road. Item 3.3, which is a recommendation item back to the Board of Commissioners, review the rezone request for the Dill Greer property located at 0 Saundersville Road. Item 3.4, review the site plan for Camp Bow Wow located at 3085 North Mount Juliet Road. Item 3.5, review the site plan for Cumberland Endodontics located at 878 North Mount Juliet Road. Item 3.6, review the preliminary plat for the Paul Harris property located at 1491 Nottable Road. Item 3.7, review the preliminary plat for the Brookhaven subdivision located at 1411 Old Lebanon Dirt Road. Item 3.10, approval of Planning Commission 2020 continuing education hours. Ms. Hamlin.
Staff recommends approval for each item or a positive recommendation where applicable, with our conditions listed for each project. Thank you.
Works at this time? Very well. Questions or comments from the commission?
I have one question.
Commissioner Turner?
This is concerning 3.6, preliminary plat for the Paul Paris property. I was just curious about lot 1. It says it's non-buildable until a solution for sewage disposal is achieved. How will they get that, and when will that be approved?
We've been reviewing this project for maybe a year, maybe over a year. They asked for 5 sewer taps, and they were only granted 5 sewer taps. So as staff's concerned, we asked that they make that, label that lot non-buildable. So they'll either have to get soils areas via septic or other means, possibly annexation for that lot to connect to the sewer. They were granted 5 out-of-city sewer request.
So this is outside the city. So how would we know if they actually build upon lot 1?
Well, it's labeled on the plat non-buildable, so no building permit should be issued for that lot.
Would they ever come through the city, or is that just through
No, it's through the county.
through the county? Okay, but it's on the registered on the plat then.
Correct. They
Very good.
should not be issued building
Okay, thank
permits
you.
for that lot.
Further questions or comments? This time I'd like to call for citizen comments in regards to any item on the consent agenda. Anyone wishing to make comment, please come to the microphone and state your name and address for the record. Seeing no citizen comments at this time, I'd like to close our planning commission meeting in order to open a public hearing. The public hearing is in regards to item 3.2, which is review the final plat for the Rainey Gerald property located at 8999 and 9039 Lebanon Road. Anyone wishing to make comment during the public hearing is welcome and encouraged to do so. Please come to the microphone and state your name and address for the record. Seeing no citizen comments at this time, we'll close our public hearing, reopen our planning commission meeting, at which time I'm looking for a motion in regards to the items on our consent agenda. Motion to approve. Who broke the tie on that? Commissioner Franklin gets that. That's a motion and a second for approval, subject to staff comments and a positive recommendation on the one recommendation item. All those in favor signify by saying aye and raising your hand. Aye. Against? Abstentions? So approved. Next item up on our agenda falls underneath a out-of-city sewer extension request. This is a recommendation item back to the Board of Commissioners. Begin with item 4.1, which is review the outside-of-city sewer service extension request for map 076, parcel 059.00, located at 815 John Wright Road. Samuel?
Thank you. I will let Shane go over sewer capacity and availability for these lots. I did want to report to you guys that staff, as planning staff, we recommend annexation for these due to the proximity of current city limits. Just makes sense to bring these guys into the city. Thank you.
Thank you.
Starting with South Green Hill Road, they're asking for one sewer tap. After the analysis that was done, to be provided available with, let's see here.
Let's focus on this one on John Wright real quick.
John Wright, okay.
Please.
They're looking to subdivide their tract and ask for two sewer taps. They're going to tie into the manhole across the street that was built as part of Kelsey Glen's subdivision. There's plenty of capacity. And if the Planning Commission decides to go ahead with this, board BOC, it will work.
Very well. So they're going to bore under it and try to tap?
Bore open cut, yes, sir. That's up to the property owner to provide the means to get to that manhole.
Very well. Thank you. Questions or comments from the commission? Let's go ahead and ask for representation then in regards to this project. Do we have representation here? Please come to the microphone, name and address for the record.
Yes, sir. Excuse me. Michael Smiley. I'm at the address 815 John Wright Road.
So leading back to Ms. Hamlin's question right there, why would we not go ahead and annex you guys in and give you the two taps? And
I'm not against any of that. I've lived here for 21 years and
yeah,
it's 3.25 acres. I've got a tiny 1,100 square foot house. So we would like to, build right there as well. We don't have any other, it's not another perk site on the lot. So anything that would help me would be
so if
greatly
we were
appreciated.
to, it's going to be a notification if he were to accept a rezone. I'll let Ms. Hamlin give you a little bit of the background on the project because I guess we could recommend it, but then the recommendation would just have to hold at BOC until they could get back.
Well,
Explain the
actually, you'd
process.
have to make a recommendation to deny his request and it with that condition of annexation, that he should apply for annexation. And he'd have to actually apply for the annexation.
If we did that, could we make it so that he doesn't have to pay his fee twice?
I will let Gino answer that.
Gino, can we make it a condition so that he would not have to repay this fee?
So there would be no fee for, like,
Well, I guess-
I think it would be best to
think there's a-
probably give him a refund of his $500 and ask that he pay the $100
Do it all at once?
annexation.
Can we do that?
Yes.
Just trying to, especially being an individual property owner and being here, it just
It's a
seems
great
to me-
opportunity for
Yeah,
the
we're just going
city.
to come, you're going to pay it again, but we're going to give it back so you can pay it again.
It'll be cheaper for you.
Would that be something that you guys would be willing to do within your time frame?
Yes, sir. I didn't even know what to expect as far as a time frame. So
Would it be better for us to deny it, or would it be better for us to, or deny it with that condition so that we did the refund within it, or would it be
He
better
can
for him to
ask for a
defer?
withdrawal, and
Okay.
he missed his deadline for January, but if he comes in our office tomorrow, I'll throw him on for January, so he's not losing a month.
So he could request withdrawal?
Hmm?
How would we ask politely if we could refund that money to him
I think
If
Gino
he
said
would-
it's okay.
if he withdrew? Okay,
I would just make a note to finance that the applicant requested a withdrawal.
wonderful. I trust the, boy, is that dangerous that I said that I trust the attorney? That's like a dangerous statement. So would you like to request a withdrawal?
yes, sir. So what would I do next?
If you want to just contact Ms. Hamlin, she'll help you. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I guess, I can't speak for any of the other members of the planning commission, but I would have no issue with it. And you guys are right there within our growth boundary. So what we don't want to create is have John Wright Road and have you sitting here on your island and then us eventually annex the two people right there next to you, which we should eventually at some time. Hopefully, it kind of makes sense because everything's right there,
Yes, sir.
and not put you on an island where you weren't allowed the same public services that your neighbors might
Yes, sir.
have the same resource.
Yes, sir.
There's more than just the sewer there for you guys and be able to offer that up to you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
See you tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
That is a withdrawal of item 4.1 on our agenda. Next item on our agenda also falls underneath the out-of-city sewer extension request. It is a recommendation back to the Board of Commissioners. Is reviewed the outside of city sewer service extension request for map 073 parcel 013.06 located on South Green Hill Road. Ms. Hamlin.
Thank you. I actually have the same recommendation for this one as I did the last. I recommend that they annex into the city limits of Mount Juliet due to the proximity of current city limits. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry about that last time. On this property, current city sewer runs through the western side of his lot. So it'd be up to the property owner to run service to the sewer line, but there would be no crossing of the road. Pretty simple. And it's just one tap, and there's plenty of capacity on the line.
Very well. Thank you. Do we have representation present for this project tonight? Please, microphone and name and address for the record.
My name is Jeremy Morrow, 217 Ernest Drive, Lebanon, Tennessee. We're purchasing a parcel of land, and it's contingent on getting the sewer approved to run the sewer through it. And there's, like you said, the sewer line already runs through it. And so we're just looking to use that. There's an easement on land where we can only have one residency on there. So it can only be one house. So there's not going to be a lot more houses built on there or anything.
Are you looking for it because there's no soils area on this particular property, or?
No, just because there's a less maintenance. Don't have to worry about putting a septic in. There was soils already ran on it, but we just thought, if there's the lines already running through the property, you might as well connect to it.
Gravity down there too. Sure.
Yes, sir.
I guess the same question that we just had for the previous applicant that was here. When we look at the overall growth plan for the city of Mount Juliet and where it could go, especially a 12-acre parcel in particular, and I'm actually individually familiar with this, with it being held in the estate and everything that it
Yes,
is over there, being the former Dr. Willie's estate. And it's almost right behind my house. But it would make sense for us in order to bring it into the city limits in case any of the parcels around you, and especially not to put a 12-acre parcel sitting there on a unique island around it. Will anything ever come of it? Will we annex down Green Hill? That would be probably unique. I don't know that we would ever get all the way down Green Hill Road to do something like that. It's a little bit different than what's happening over there at John Wright, but it makes sense for us if you would be willing to get into the city limits of Mount Juliet.
That's fine.
Would that be okay with you guys? Is that, yeah, I think that, yeah, we're just seeing, it especially when we offer the public services. And so the gentleman, the police officer sitting there behind you, if something comes up, that's one of the individuals that will be coming to assist you and your family should anything happens, from fire to ambulatory to police services, and be able to offer you more than just a sewer service there in regards to your house. You do have a beautiful piece of property right there, without a doubt.
Thank you.
And offer that up to you there as an additional service. So I guess I would probably want to make the same recommendation for that applicant, being an individual like that, in order to allow them the refund of their monies. If he does choose to take that route and withdraw, you need to withdraw your request back to the Planning Commission tonight. Of course, reach out to Ms. Hamlin and her office, and then she can help guide you through the process of what it would take to be able to get the new request in. Hopefully be able to get you onto the January. I think she's going to try to accommodate you and get you onto the January agenda. And then once you got to Planning Commission on the January agenda, then you would have your 2 readings to the Board of Commissioners. So you're looking probably somewhere around mid-late February. If you pass your readings through Board of Commissioners, either which way, you have 2 readings to the Board of Commissioners, whether or not we approve or deny your request.
And this wouldn't count as one?
This would not count as one. We're just the planning commission, so all items have to come through us like this for the out of area sewer extension to you.
Okay.
And then we either say we recommend it to the Board of Commissioners or we do not recommend it to the Board of Commissioners. Then you're on the next Board of Commissioners agenda. I'm not even sure when that one is. The 21st. So actually Monday you would have been the 21st, and then the second reading would be, I would imagine their first January of 2021 meeting.
So December 21st, and then January 21st, and then February. The reason why I'm asking is because the contract expires at the end of January. So, and this is contingent on it. So
Just ask them if they would give you, in my opinion, probably a 30-day extension to your contract and take it to the end of February.
okay.
Because if you were able to get through, which once again, I'm just one person, but I can't imagine any rationale why we would not accept this.
Okay.
But
All right.
you would go through Planning Commission next month, which is January 21st. And then you would go to the next Board of Commissioners meeting for your first reading with them. You'd hear it at the Board of Commissioners. Everything goes okay. You'll go through your second reading, Board of Commissioners, which would put you March 8th. Yeah, for you to be able to close out. So March 8th would probably be as best or give yourself a pat, say March 15th for your contract extension. That should give
Okay.
you adequate time in order to do that.
Okay. And so I'll just come talk to you in the morning. Okay. Okay. And then I would get a refund, like you said, for the.
They'll take care of that for
Okay.
you.
Okay. Awesome. All right. Cool.
Is that okay?
I think so.
Is that a withdrawal?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, the next item on our agenda falls underneath the site plan. It is to item 5.1, which is to review the site plan for the Heritage Medical Associates located at 325 Old Pleasant Grove Road. Ms. Hamlin?
Thank you. This is a great site plan. I really appreciate the applicant's willingness to work with staff, and literally the only reason it's not on consent is because they are asking for a waiver to the commercial design standards for 8.3% metal use for their building. The reason that they're asking for that metal is structural reasons, as it's going over you'll see on the elevations, a large panel of glass. Staff does support their request. I think it's a very nice looking building. They did a great job with their site plan, and staff recommends approval. I'm here to answer any questions if you have any.
I'm curious. So this one, just because it's so much glass,
It's a lot of glass.
is what kicks it in. So we can only register for our ordinance per what is a non-glass facade.
Right. We do not count the glazing. They could have 100% glass building. We
Would
do.
100% glass building require variance?
No, we don't count the glazing.
Oh. So if they had columns on all four corners and no. Interesting.
So the
Yeah,
metal
it's a
that they're
beautiful
proposing,
building.
it's a beautiful building, but the
Yeah.
metal they're proposing is over top of that glass, and it's just too heavy. The brick would be too heavy for that glass to support.
Sure.
Hope I didn't give anybody any ideas tonight.
No, no. Wonderful. Questions or comments from the commission? Do we have any public works comments we need to add on this? No public works comments on this? Questions, comments from the commission? Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's go ahead and call for citizen comments regards this item on the agenda. Any citizens wishing to make comment are welcome and encouraged to do so. Please come to the microphone and state your name and address for the record.
My name is Jay Fulmer, 2002 Richard Jones Road, and I'm on behalf of the applicant. So I don't know if this is the appropriate time for us to talk or not.
Please.
All right. Thank you for all of you being here and listening to our project, but really thank you to the staff. We started working with John Bowman back in June on the site plan, and it was extremely helpful to get us where we are. We've tried to incorporate a lot of additional landscaping and areas in the parking lot to add some vegetation and just soften the parking lot. We have in a minute Warren, who's with Earl Swinson. She's the architect. She'll tell you a little more about the building, but they prepared what we believe is a really high-end building. The metal panels really provide a great accent. We reviewed the staff report, and the only item that gives us a little bit of concern is raising the parapet more. And we understand why the comment's made. On the elevation view, you can see the mechanical units on the roof, but on the line of sight study, they're completely hidden from the street view when you're down 45 feet lower. With the nice building comes a lot of expense. We're right on the threshold of our budget. So just any additions work against us a little bit, but we understand that, it's up to you guys. And I'll let Warren talk a little more about the building.
I brought the rendering. I'm sure it's in your packet, but as Jay said, sorry.
Name and address for the record.
Lauren Seiler, 5020 Raglan Drive. As Jay mentioned, I am with Earl Swinson Associates. I'm a design manager there, and I worked on the design for this building. So I think, reading the planning documents, we tried to meet as much of the stone and brick requirements that were asked of us. And as the staff member mentioned, our main entry has a double height lobby space, which will be really great for patients that are waiting to go see their physicians. But it felt really heavy to have that brick come across the glass. So we thought the metal provided a nice accent, but it is not very overpowering to the building. Still, the main facade is that stone element with the canopy. So I guess if y'all have any questions for us, just let me know, but wanted to bring it so maybe it's a little bit bigger so you might can see it. So,
Beautiful.
perfect. Just let me know if you have questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Question. Commissioner Turner?
Yeah, so when you're saying metal, so what type of metal is this?
It is proposed to be composite metal panel. So it's a metal system that's really rigid. It's not going to have the oil canning of older metal systems, kind of similar to what is on the Jones Brothers building, which is actually near our site. There's also the car, I guess it's the Jeep dealership down the road, has a similar type of system.
So does this metal, what's the finish on that? So how does this metal wear?
Yeah, so it has
20 years from now?
Yep. So it comes with a warranty system. So it's similar to, there's a system called a Pollock, and the finish on it is layered onto the composite, and then it has a finish grade that typically comes with like a 25 year type warranty system. We can confirm with you what is actually based on the product we're proposing, but it's probably similar to kind of buildings you see downtown. Like I said, I think metal panel sometimes has a bad connotation because previous systems were not the best. They would delaminate. You'd kind of have the oil canning and they didn't age very well, but the products today are definitely a lot more substantial. And I promise our owner would not want us putting anything on the building that's not going to look good for years to come. Yes, true. Or it requires a lot of maintenance. So,
Yeah.
And it is proposed to be a darker color, which would allow it. You're not going to see as much of the dirt on it type deal.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. Anyone else?
Very good.
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Franklin?
On the parking. I'm really impressed by the number of spaces and the size of the spaces, by the way. Thank you. Looks like they're wanting to really do a good business, doesn't it? Is it a circulation all the way around one way, or is it two-way in?
It's two-way in. And I'll let Jay answer that from our civil. Thank you.
All the drive aisles are 26 feet, so they're all two-way circulation. They don't neck down anywhere to 24 or narrower. And there's a parking study specialist who works in the healthcare industry. And we included a copy of their report. Since we are overparked, we wanted to justify why we are. And they take they basically take a study of every doctor, number of patients, how long people wait. And we are parking at about 95% capacity of the building. And because we didn't want to spend extra money on the parking lot. I mentioned earlier, we're right on budget. We didn't want to pay for more than we needed, but also wanted to make sure we had enough. And so it's a pretty neat study that was done, and we are right on their suggestion.
Very nice.
It's good.
You good? Further questions, comments from the commission?
I have a question.
Please.
So where can you see the mechanicals? Like, I think you mentioned Old Pleasant Grove. Jennifer, in the.
If you're on the third or fourth floor of the Jones Brothers building, then you'll probably see it. But if you're on the ground, we don't think that you'll be able to see it anywhere.
So on the elevation sheet A2.0, you can see it here.
No, but what location? How far away?
Our ordinance calls for the parapet wall to be raised equal to or greater than the height of the HVAC,
HVAC,
any
okay.
roof mounted equipment.
Okay.
So if you guys are okay with the screening that they're provided, they are providing a screen wall around it. It's just not the parapet wall. You can include that as part of your waiver.
I just think the scale of the building was really nice. And I think if they raise that up, it's probably going to look a little odd.
Mhm. John and I really struggled with it, but our
Yeah.
ordinance does call for that.
You can see on the last sheet of the architectural where the units are. They're right in the center of the roof. You would have to be, at an upper floor of an adjacent building to see them.
It's been a little while since this body's seen him waive that, but familiar with at least a handful that we've done the same thing, allow the screening in lieu of the parapet wall, unique situations that basically same kind of requirement.
The hotel behind Goodwill actually is a prime example of an oops in the field, and we allowed a screen wall.
Yeah.
And you can't even tell now
Yeah.
at all, and it's highly visible location. So
Really?
you see Kristen even know.
I'm across the street. Our
Yeah.
office
Yeah.
is on the second floor. So
It was atrocious at first, but it looks great now.
I'll
Very
check
good.
it out tomorrow.
Further questions, comments from the commission? Thank you.
Thank you.
See no additional citizen comments at this time. Like to ask for a motion in regards to this item on our agenda. I'll make a motion to approve, subject to staff comments, including the variance and the granting of the screening in lieu of the raising the parapet wall. It's a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye and raising your hand. Aye. Against? Abstentions? So approved. Next item on the agenda falls underneath Master Development Plan for a variable lot subdivision. Item 6.1, which is review the master plan for the Kurd Road subdivision located on Kurd Road.
Hi there.
Mr. Bowman.
New planning commissioners and new submittal type here for us all. I don't know if we've looked at a variable lot subdivision lately or ever. This is on, it's in between Golden Bear and Kurd Road. This is, it's one street. It'll be about 20 lots, or exactly 20 lots. And it's about 9.7 acres for the development site. It's a variable lot subdivision, so the intent is to trade some open space for some slightly increased density. And in this case, we have a RS20 base zoning, so that's 20,000 square foot lot. They are proposing lots between 0.34 acres and 0.38 acres. 0.38 acres is 16,553 square feet. So, 3,400 and whatever it is, less than the minimum required in RS20. So that's the density bonus that they're going for here. Basically what it comes down to, for an RS20, if it's straight zoned, they could put 21 lots here. And with this variable lot, it's 20. That being said, we do recommend approval, but we do have some conditions here. The most notable of the conditions is the rear setback needs to be bumped up to 40. It's 30 now.
That's from tract boundary. It's a little different compared to most zoning things we talk about here, since it is a variable lot subdivision. We also would like to see a better open space design or plan, since that is kind of a fundamental component of the variable lot subdivision. As you'll see on the plan, the open space is basically the detention pond area. Some other things that we would like to see changed upon resubmittal. The variable lot subdivision requires a tree inventory. It's not in there. And also the mail kiosk location, as you can see, it's kind of in two future houses' front yards, which is less than ideal. So we are recommending approval, but with these conditions to be addressed, for, in order to get it approved. But that's, I think, all I have. Yeah, that's the bulk of it. If you have any questions, let us know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything from Public Works?
No additional comments, but we don't want any street-facing garages. Everything needs to come on the side, so we don't want people backing out in the road. 6-foot sidewalk along the Kurd Road frontage, 10-foot multi-use path along Golden Bear. And the last condition, traffic calming measures so people don't shoot across from Kurd to Golden Bear. We don't want to create a roadway or a raceway through there, so slow traffic down. They've also put in a left turn. That'll also help with slowing down traffic and right-of-way conditions that they've met. We just wanted to have that in writing. So that's all we've got. No additional comments than what's on the sheet.
Very well. Thank you.
I have a question.
Commissioner
for you.
Turner?
Excuse me. So access road A on C 1.00,
Yes, sir.
access road A, the turn off of Golden Bear Gateway is a very short 90-degree turn on the road. That looks like it's problematic. Can we smooth that out a little bit? That's just, I don't know if I've ever seen a road shaped like that before on purpose in recent years.
We've got the capability of the next lot above to make it into a three-way stop. That's looking out in the future.
See that?
I think Joe can answer that specifically, but that's when we had discussions, that's the looking down the road.
Got it.
And plus, they'll have to yield temporarily for crosswalks, so there'll be signage and stuff like that to make sure that cars don't take that turn. But yeah, it's primarily for the future.
Okay.
How does that 10-foot path, how does that work with the planned improvements for Golden Bear Parkway?
They'll come in. I think we're having developments do it right now
Okay.
as things develop on the frontage, but that will be part of it as well. They'll tie into it.
Okay.
Commissioner Franklin?
Yeah. Was there any thought given to opening up access street A to either lot to the north or the south of this little subdivision? The reason I ask is because, if these lots do come in, especially off Golden Bear eventually, we're going to have more and more turns. And I know Andy's trying to separate as many cuts, as many places to turn on that separated roadway as we can. Would it make sense to have these north and south lots not locked in the plat like it is? In other words, there's no stub out to the north or to the south anywhere that I see. And so if these lots do subdivide eventually, they're going to have cuts.
Do you want to take that one?
Question.
Good evening, Joe Haddock, Civil Site Design Group, 2305 Klein Avenue. Mr. Franklin, yes. So we're not currently showing a stub to the northern property, but the right of way abuts the northern property line. So to allow that future connection, Shane touched on it earlier. We're worried about this access street becoming just a raceway cut through. I think we talked about setting it up as a T intersection for the start. So your traffic coming in off of Golden Bear can have that through movement. And then the leg we are constructing now, and then the future leg to the north would be your stop condition. So you get the traffic in off Golden Bear smoothly, everybody else stops. The original design intent we had, we've worked through with planning and public works, had the road curving to the south, tying to the southern property line, but in discussion with staff, it's decided let's go ahead and set the connection point to Golden Bear now.
What do you guys think about it? I mean, there's a lot of acres to the south. I know that, is it Cook, Jerry's? It's a lot of property. There's probably.
I think that the property to the south is the last phase of Park Glen.
Is it?
Mhm.
It's already,
Mhm.
Cook's already got something on his.
Mhm. And I would like to thank the applicant because this came in as a cul-de-sac and we absolutely wanted to pump the brakes on that. So I do appreciate them connecting on Golden Bear and Kurd Road.
Yeah. It's unique. This is my first variable lot subdivision in my tenure. Yeah, I've not seen it before. Hats off.
It's
So
another new one for 2020.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, I do got, you're in agreement with all staff comments right now?
Yep, every one of them.
Can we, just because this is unique, I know our ordinance covers us, if you were to hammerhead that A to put the future development sign right there. And since it doesn't really have a quote unquote terminus point like that and the way it's shaped, can we get a future development sign in that position right there? We're just especially buyer 9 or lot 9 right there. The way we don't get rolled over the coals should that develop out right there. But just because it doesn't have that traditional hammerhead, the design and everything there that I can see, and just to make sure that we let everybody know that it's planned to have a future connection. Yes, sir. Yeah, because it doesn't, if there was a terminus point on a road, and this really isn't, so they really wouldn't have to meet the ordinance on that, but it'd be helpful for the people in there. Further questions or comments? Commissioner Turner?
So the mail kiosk, is there a place that you can move that besides those two, between those two lots, 4 and 5?
Between lots 10 and 11 would be, we already have the open space there, but I'm not sure I want to put it in the curve. We kind of liked it between 4 and 5 just because mid-block allows some parking.
Do you have a picture? Like that'd only be like 20. So how large
Yeah,
would
I
that
have
be?
a feeling we probably got it drawn about 3 times the size that it'll end up being.
What?
Just to be perfectly honest.
Your best scale is each of those parking places out front of it, Joe, or how
That's
big?
20 feet. So it's probably drawn here. I'll tell you.
So each parking place is 20 feet?
It's currently drawn at 25 feet wide by 20 feet deep. So I'm imagining we're going to get away with a 5 foot deep by about 7.5 feet wide.
Just as a reminder, you only get one detached structure on a building. I'm just kidding. Yeah, exactly. Exact, Pearl. Yeah.
Yeah, and we've also, you work with staff on that, but we've also seen where there might be a couple of them that are just 4 or 5, just kind of, close by and walking distance, kind of drive
Right.
through where you just kind of like have a little indention in the curb. So there's a lot of different options with that.
Put it in the grass strip. Yes, we'll work with staff, come up with a better solution than what we're
Yeah.
currently showing.
And then the last question is, why did you decide to do a variable lot subdivision? What was the impetus for this?
So in looking at these two parcels combined, it's two existing parcels combined. It's about 380 feet wide. We feel like the lots that we're proposing, especially with a through street connected to Golden Bear, we just lose a lot of width on the lots. We don't exceed the density of the RS-20. We're just utilizing a provision, 15,000 square foot minimum. They're larger than what's adjacent to it on the east side of Kurd. And these are they're about 100 feet wide by about 150 feet deep. I mean, they're good sized lots. The developer's thinking he's going to be in the 600 to 700 price range. We were able to maintain at least, a platted 10-foot open space around the buffer, plus the 40-foot setback off the boundary. So we feel like we're meeting the intent of a typical RS-20 development, but it allowed us to get the lot yield and still make the connection with the through street to Golden Bear.
I like the big lots with side and rear entry garages. That's however we get there to accomplish that works for me.
We're at 12% open space.
Further questions, comments? Thank you.
Thank y'all.
This time I'd like to call for citizen comments. Any citizens wishing to make comment, welcome and encouraged to do so. See no citizen comments at this time. I'd like to ask for a motion in regards to this item on the agenda. That's a motion and a second. Can I make sure that that's added in about the sign showing future development? Would that be okay? So it's a motion and a second, subject to staff comments and the addition of making sure we do the ordinance sign.
Mm-hmm.
Good. All those in favor signify by saying aye and raise your hand. Aye. Against? Abstentions? So approved. Is there any objection to us hearing items 7.1 and 7.2 together?
No objection.
No objection. Any issue with that? So no objection to that. We're going to hear items 7.1 and 7.2 together. Both are of recommendation items back to the Board of Commissioners. Item 7.1 is review the Parks land purchase request for the Thomason property located on Beckwith Road. Item 7.2 is review the Parks land purchase request for the Hayes property located at Southwest Cooks Road. Ms. Hamlin.
Thanks. If you guys have any questions about the contracts that you were provided, our city attorney will be happy to answer any question you have.
They look like contracts. Very well. Questions or comments from the commission? Please.
For the Tomlinson property, is the original purchase price also $20,000 per acre for the entire, and then they're buying it at 20,000? Okay.
For the record, we got the nod of the head that is correct.
Okay, thank you.
For the record, Gino did state.
Gino
That was accurate.
The attorney
Mhm.
said that was accurate.
I don't want to throw her under the bus.
Yeah. Yeah, there goes the presents.
Yeah. For the
Commissioner
record,
Floyd,
that was
please.
Mr. Winchester that stated that.
To the city attorney, you still have a problem with the contract on that one piece of property?
With parts, yes, and there'll be some more discussion about that.
Okay.
Before it's finally signed.
I understand.
Would you like to reiterate that, Ms. Hamble? We're gonna make,
Our city attorney stated from his seat that it is still a work in progress and it will be rectified before BOC.
thank you. Further questions, comments? This time I'd like to call for citizen comments. Any citizens wish to make comment are welcome and encouraged to do so. Seeing no citizen comments this time, I'm looking for a recommendation in regards to items 7.1 and 7.2 on our agenda.
I'll make a positive recommendation back to the Board of Commissioners for approval.
It's a motion and a second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye and raising your hand. Aye. Against? Abstentions? It is a positive recommendation. With that being said, the last time in 2020, I'm looking for a motion to adjourn. It's a motion and a second by Commissioner Searcy. All in favor, signify by saying aye and raising your hand. Aye. Against? Abstentions? Goodbye, 2020. We are adjourned.